short coat guy, is that what you're saying?
You know, he always looks nice, but not suit.
Decked out like that. Like Philadelphia law. Yeah.
Some of them are really low down.
Well, I'm waiting for it to go lower.
That's right, it's chairs, I don't know who. Move around or what. Height every night.
They're new.
Barely got him in his like horse.
I do, as I tell everybody, I make them feel.
I'm glad you brought that in.
Well, I
Are you the one that Sherry calls about the dog every now and
Oh,
again?
wow, yeah, but he's good.
I see him out there.
He's a light sleeper though when you're bored. I think he just gets so old.
What does he do when it gets cold? Y'all have a heated house for him,
Oh,
don't
we
you?
have a heated house for him. He has a heat pad that when you step on, he steps on it, it comes on, and he's got a heated around it.
Wow, he's got it.
He does.
He's got it
We
made.
feed him, we feed him every morning and every night.
I was thinking
what he says, right?
I saw him just sitting there on the driveway, just looking out, just doing his thing. And I thought, you know, he's waiting for food.
He's good.
Because he's just kind of sitting there looking around. When I came back by, the plate was being set down for him.
Yeah, he gets it soon, but, and he's been sleeping a little bit late, so, but he's
How old
cold.
is he?
I don't know.
And he got a white face, so I know he's got some
And he's
age
got
on
some
him.
light in his body. So, and then Donnie was talking about that this
What,
evening.
maybe 10 years old? Yeah.
But we spoiled him the last few years we've had him.
Oh, you can tell he's spoiled.
We have got him spoiled. He'll come right, I went out, I say he can talk to me, but I went out and feed him, I said, is he ready for supper? I'm getting it ready, just wait right there.
You know,
He don't like anybody around the park.
Make sure there's
exactly, and I just start saying, you see him go across the road, and he just saunters across the road, and I've stopped him many times.
Didn't mean to.
I'm crossing the road, I'm here, I own this.
He owns that section. Yeah, we got him spoiled.
What's his name?
Well, I called him my baby. Some of them, Donnie named him Buford.
Buford?
Yeah, sometimes some people call him the mayor.
That's what we call it.
Yeah, some of them calls him the mayor, so, I don't know. I just call him, come on, baby, you're my baby.
Yeah. Well, he's good on dog. He really is.
He would have made somebody a great dog.
Yeah.
And we still can't pet him.
What?
We still can't pet him. I probably petted him 5 times since we've had him, and he has to be engrossed in eating something. Because he saw me the other day, I was reaching down to pet him, he'll dodge you, like you're gonna hit him.
Was he a stray? Was he just
Yeah.
there?
Well, no, I begged him to come out.
Well, he
I
might be.
went through town,
He
in
might
my
be years
car.
before he ever showed up.
petting him and giving him food each little ways with him.
Yeah.
And then finally I got the little dog house that they live over there
Yeah.
and showed him the kids. And he just took up.
I just thought, that's where he lives.
That's his house.
That's it.
Yeah. That's his house. But now somebody
Okay,
doesn't
so it gives you an
know.
idea of what that looks like.
Oh, yeah. And he'll probably never get over it.
He
As
won't.
long as he's been here too long, you still have a hard time with it.
I have a hard time petting. Yeah.
Good to see you.
Well, it's good to see you again.
How you been?
I've been fine. Good. I hear you're being a good neighbor.
Well, we're fighting. Oh, well, yeah, I do that. Up there, I've got a little a used ATV that I put a snow blade on. And
Is it gonna be enough for this winter?
oh, you know what? I have to crank that thing this summer just because I don't ride an ATV like these dollars and run around on. So I have to crank it up, charge there, all this other stuff. So I can use one thing. But it's fun. I like it. It's fun.
Sometimes we don't get as much.
Well, even when we get to the top of Austin Hills, there's a sign that says it's state maintenance. So the state plows and quits right there.
Right where you are.
I mean, I'm on the road is like 300 feet, so I play that road for everybody. I play it in all directions. I even tell people drive.
Well, like I said, your ministry of plowing is great.
Oh, has it?
So, it's appreciated.
Well, I do it because I'm up there, I've got the machine, and I do it.
That's good.
And I'll keep doing it until it either breaks or I break.
Yeah. Both of those are probably.
Sure.
No, I had a motor, and I had a big pipe, put a rope around the pipe, and put it around his neck, long enough to keep my dog biting me. And every time I give its food to it, I have to let it set its food down, pick up run the end that time. And you know what's the matter with it? It might be kept out, and it was scared of it, and it comes here. Here's a problem, I'm gonna let it, somebody keep the place. But I did, I mean, I did, you know, I fed it and everything, but that dog, that dog.
You have a long time building trust.
Yeah, they,
You know, dogs are like elephants, they don't forget.
No.
They do not forget.
and so, but do you imagine the situation, the bus is your run,
That's hard.
and I noticed it. But you could sneak it behind her and he wasn't here.
He wouldn't hear.
And just squeeze it, see you, but he just stopped acting. And that's what we end up changing everything like that. But when I got that dog, I put this, rope down that pipe, pulled up his neck where it come back. And took it home. And then I told her, buddy, I paid
Oh,
for
yeah,
it.
I started saying, you're talking about if he does.
I had two of them. I had a German and a American.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't get money to the state police and they come look at it and that thing, I took that out and it's on. And because the dog came sideways to that thing. So that dog would never be in the police department because you know, buddy, said it wouldn't help because when he turned somewhere else, he said it wouldn't do.
Huh. Well, where did you get the one that you had to put the pipe on?
I got down there, in Homeland, we thought, sign in Homeland. And,
Were they the ones that abused the dog, or they just couldn't handle the dog?
I don't know, but I had to go get it, and overnight, I had that road water out there and get it, to the state police. I gave it away, and I fell that sore, and, did it, and beginning, never did hear more about it. So I started calling, he said, you put a muzzle on the dog, so, her fellow Tennessee went like that. And had this little bitty short tail like that. And I walked up there and laid my head down on that dog's head, and, yeah, I thought them people were all dead right there. And he done.
Put a muzzle on it.
Yeah,
And you went up and laid your head on
I
it.
asked for it, put the muzzle on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That fellow had his hands except for his feet. He said, "Baby, you know, that's money in this world, get me, put my head down on that dog."
They don't forget.
But this squeeze it, I force it now.
Oh, yeah, yeah, oh, yeah. And it's sand, everything, they don't forget.
And I know she wanted to pick one out out there. But he had his whole hand bandaged up where a dog bit. Sure did. I mean, it's, but he bit, and he said, "You got to be crazy."
Yeah. No, the dog remembers me, the dog likes me.
Oh, yeah.
There's a difference.
But now that German Rottweiler, buddy, I think, now that was tough as crap. Oh, there's community that's right there. That's bad.
I don't know what people do there, you know, if you can't be good to animal, you know, let somebody else have it, that'll take care of it.
I was standing up there and put that dog in that bus and right there in that door up there, so we got across the road over there. So I can't pat that dog, pat myself on the leg and that dog couldn't see my leg. And I said, that's not good enough. It's good to back here for my leg.
I mean, I'm doing better. Keep improving. Appreciate the prayers.
Yes.
Thursday, we see a surgeon and we may hear whether or not we have surgery on the shoulder.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm looking forward to what he has to say.
Yeah. Good. We're waiting on a recording device right now. So
Yeah,
overloaded.
exactly. See,
the
when I pull up
gigabytes.
the parking lot, it's full.
Hey,
Casual.
Anyway,
I think that's a good thing.
Not-
for
not-
that.
not the teacher case,
No,
another case.
I've been through a lot of therapy.
Yeah.
Therapy to go, but my strength in the left arm is halfway back to where it needs to be.
okay.
And the issue is there may be some surgery in the shoulder.
Yeah.
So just pray that God decides to heal me without that.
Yeah. That would be the best, as we see it.
They did an MRI, and so I had talked to the doctors and said, so how serious it is.
Yeah.
But I'm just thankful to be able.
Yeah, that's good.
Thankful to be able to dress myself again.
That's nice.
You never know until.
You never know until you, yeah. That's right.
When I first started putting socks on, putting the left sock on, it might take 2 minutes. You just never know.
Hope that somebody gets
Yeah.
loves the dog and take care of it.
Oh, yeah, you can get so,
But in my mind, and in my head, I'm young and athletic.
That's right. That's good.
I'm not going to let the old man get in before he has to.
Right, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
That's good. That's good.
I watch Rebecca on the news, doing her pet
School
going
going
with
well?
dog.
Yeah, homiletics, I got a,
Rebecca's Rescue or whatever.
doing,
it is, she
doing
calls it
all right.
program.
Nobody gets 100 until it's perfect. So that's one class I would probably
They're all grown.
get an A, but an A+.
Seems like most people want close.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes
Analytical charts.
older ones are better.
Did those.
Where you,
But if they've been abused.
well, we did, I guess, more diagrams.
You got your work with
Yeah.
I don't know if it's pretty much the same.
An analytical chart, it's just a piece of paper, 3 boxes, and you got it?
No, we never did that.
It's an A for study. Really nice. Well, I'm gonna get this.
A Bruton, Roquan,
Never heard of it.
she's part Poodle and part Russell's Roquan.
Next thing you get out of bed, and she lets it down.
I had nothing to do with getting fixed.
Chris, before you, okay? This session will now be in order. Can we all stand and pledge allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would Pastor Reagan please step up and lead us in prayer?
Father, as we come to you tonight, we're so thankful for the privilege that we have of meeting as a town. We're thankful for the opportunity that we have to ask your presence to bless this assembly. And we just ask you to minister and your ministry to be obvious. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. You may be seated. There's a ringing in the sound system, just a little bit here. I don't know if we can cut it down just a hair. Can we please have a roll call of council?
Hawthorne.
Here.
Hall. Kennedy. Here. Owens.
Here.
Powers.
Here.
Okay, thank you. We now move on to the consent calendar. Can I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
We need to make some changes.
Okay.
So what I would like to do is move the Cumberland Airport Commission to number 5, the closed session to number 6. The reason for that is we do have a structural engineer who's making himself available to answer questions and to go over the report with us. And then 7, 8, on down from there, the audience comments at number 7.
I would like to just suggest we put the audience comments before the closed session. We haven't had very long audience comments, in case someone wants to say something and then leave.
My only issue there is we'll wait, the structural engineer is waiting on us, and I have him set at 6:45. There is another addition on the closed session, so it would be 2.2-3711, 5. And the other one, is that 8, Kevin?
Consultation with the legal counsel.
Okay, so 5 and 8.
And that'd be A5.
So I would make a motion that we move closed session. The two reasons that she suggested to 5.5 after audience comment. If anybody wanted to comment at the meeting, it's not their fault that we're late. So I'd like
It
to
really
keep
doesn't
raised.
have anything to do with us being late. As far as moving it, it has to do with the structural engineer, and this is after hours for him. So he's making himself available to answer questions.
I mean, the people of the town are, in my opinion, as if not more important than an engineer. So my motion stands.
As does mine.
I don't think you made one.
I did.
Did you?
She made a motion to amend it. So do we have a second for Councilman Kennedy's motion?
I second Kennedy's.
Okay, any discussion?
I'll make an amendment to our motion to keep audience comments before closed session. So audience comment would be 4.5. Closed session would be number 5.
Okay. Is there a second to that amendment? Is there not a second? Or second? Okay. Well, it has not been seconded, so we can vote on, any more discussion before we vote on it? Okay. Can we please have a roll call vote of that, please?
Hawthorne. Hawthorne.
No.
Hall.
No.
Kennedy.
Yes.
Mullins.
Yes.
Powers.
Yes.
Okay, and the motion passes. Is there a motion to adopt it as amended?
Motion to adopt as amended. I second.
Any discussion? Okay, can we have a roll call vote of that, please?
Hawthorne.
No.
Hall.
No.
Kennedy.
Yes.
Mullins.
Yes.
Powers.
Yes.
Okay, and the consent calendar is approved. We now move to item number 5, which is Airport Commission. Would a representative from the Airport Commission, please?
So reports is 5. Is that
No,
correct?
the only thing we're moving to 5 was the airport commission.
Oh, okay.
So he doesn't have to.
Okay, so airport commission's 5, closed session would be
6.
6, reports, or no, then audience comments would be 7.
Right.
Reports
And I'll
other
go
than
through
that
that.
would be,
Yeah, just move it all down.
okay.
Please go ahead.
Yes, I'm George Dean. I'm your Cumberland's Airport Commission representative since early 2007. So I've been out there for a long time working with you folks. And I was asked to come here in order to, I guess, answer your questions. We just changed the charter not that long ago, and there's political subdivisions are asked for appropriations now within their budget capabilities. And of course, we asked, well, it was, I guess, previous councils, they were doing $500 last year, and so that was what was put on our budget for this year, assuming that you all would provide that same $500 for this time around. And that's why I'm here to answer your questions, to see if you want to continue down that road.
Okay. Any questions?
We were just curious what the commission does and does for Pound.
What it does, okay, well, what the commission does is make sure that that airport is an asset to the county. If you don't have an airport, you're not going to have businesses, not good businesses that provide a lot of jobs and a lot of income. It wasn't that long ago that, we had I guess it was a president or somebody was looking to put a company in, and the weather was so bad, he couldn't make the approach at Lonesome Pine. And I won't get into why that situation existed. And he was not happy about having to ride a limousine from Tri-Cities Airport out to Wise to do whatever he was doing relative to that business. And he took his business elsewhere. So it's really important that airport be there and be all-weather capable. And that's what we do. We just had a big runway improvement not that long ago. We're in the process of building we call it a snow removal equipment storage hangar right now. The FAA refers to it as a building. We call it a hangar. It doesn't make any difference. It's got a hangar door on it. But it's to store all of our snow equipment. That stuff sits outside. It runs and nothing flat. So anyway, we have projects that are going all the time. The FAA provides dollars, and a lot of times it's 90 and 10. The state's doing like 8, and we're doing 2%. So I don't know, I probably could give you an example of something that we did here relative to the runway not that long ago. We had runway rehab phase 1. Total project cost on that was a little over $6 million, and the FAA footed the bill for the whole thing. So the FAA has a lot to do with that airport out there, and a lot of say, and there's a lot of hoops you have to jump through to make sure you're grant eligible. And we had runway rehab phase 2. It was a little over $5 million. Of course, the FAA only put in $4,555,000. The state came up with $404,930, and we had to come up with 101, 233. And so if you don't have the dollars in reserve, you can't get the grant. You can't get the grant, you can't take care of business. And so airport's closed because of that. So we need the dollars to take care of that asset out there and keep it in good shape. And we run with a minimal crew out there. And the big thing is the airport commission a long time ago voted that we would not get paid for what we do, public servant. I don't get paid for mileage to the airport. It's 25 miles or 30 miles round trip or so. And whether we travel, whatever we do, I do a lot of stuff for the airport that they sometimes probably would get a contractor to do, but I can take care of it. And so to save money, to take care of taxpayer dollars. And so I don't know, you had Brittany put this information in your packet. I don't know how many of you had a chance to read it, but I was hoping it would answer all of your questions, so you can see, where that we get money and how we get it. Wise County puts out $164,000 a year towards the airport.
You should each have 3 papers in there from the Cumberland Airport Commission, for 3 packets in there.
And our 3 workers out there, they're under the Virginia retirement system through Wise County, through the courthouse. However, those people are doing their thing. They're within that program. So anyway, like I say, that's what we do out there, is to make sure that airport is an asset to the county. It's there, so it helps. And of course, it's out near that technology park right there, so that helps too. And we do have a lot of traffic. We had some helicopters come in out there, and they liked us so much that they asked if they could stay. We had a hangar full of what we call hangar queens, airplanes that don't fly that often or not at all. And so we emptied the hangar. If you look at the camera, you can probably see a bunch of them sitting out on the apron now. Moved them out of the hangar, and so Hawkeye helicopters, we've got 2 helicopters in the hangar now, and it's providing a good source of revenue for the airport. The monthly rental on the big hangar, we call it Hangar E out there. So anyway.
Is that a coal company?
I don't know exactly what they do. I don't think it's got anything to do with coal, because the guys are out flying around all the time. I don't know if they're looking at gas lines, if they're looking at power lines. I don't really know what it is that they do, and maybe we don't want to know exactly what they do. Maybe they don't want to tell us. I don't know. But anyway, they're occupying the hangar, and where we're getting $100 from 6 airplanes, we're now getting $14.50 a month for that hangar, those two helicopters, so you see, it's a business decision, it ain't personal, it's a business decision. So, but anyway, that's why it's here, to see if you all still wanted to provide the money.
Is our financial support, is having a representative on the commission contingent upon financially supporting?
No, that's why I had you get that, see with that, and read this, the assembly, it specifically tells you in there that there's no pecuniary or punitive damage for not providing money.
And what do other, like Appalachia, how much do they give to be a comparable town?
Give me just a second, and I'll see if I can run that down for you.
They don't give anything, it looks like, but Kroger gives 200,
Yep.
St. Paul gives 1,000, Big Stone Gap gives 1,500, Norton gives 2,645, and Wise gives 3,000.
Coburn's a little bigger than we are. Appalachian's probably a little smaller.
As you can see, Wise County, 164,000, that's the, that's the front of it. But if you look at our budget, you can see that we use every penny of it wisely. Sometimes we have a little left over, sometimes we don't. But we're always in the process. We got projects we're not too long away from getting a fence put around that airport. We had deer. As a matter of fact, that same hangar had a king air in it for almost 3-4 months. Hit a deer out there. And we've told the FAA, we showed them pictures and everything else. And it's finally, hopefully it's made a difference, because we're on the list to get a fence put, and they put a chain link fence put around there now. Hit a deer, and the engine did $1 million and some worth of damage to that airplane. And it stayed in the hangar. It destroyed one engine and damaged another one, and did some other damage, structural damage to the airplane. And so it was in the hangar, and they finally got it fixed, and went away. But still, the deer out there. We got a guy that hunts them for us. We have a special stamps. We get about 15 or 20 stamps a year, and he's got a matter of fact, you go out there sometime, it's somebody show you. There's how the big brown bales of hay, those 800-pound bales of hay. Well, there's one out there. It's not a bale of hay. It looks like a bale of hay, but it's not. It's a blind. The deer hunt blind, and we don't use rifle. He uses the bow all the time. So safety issue. But anyway, that's
Is Lonesome Pine the only airport under this commission?
Yes.
The Cumberland?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yes, yeah, that's why Lee County bowed out. Lee County was part of us at one time, but they had the wrong airport.
Okay.
And so they said, nope, we don't need to, we're doing our own thing now. Just strike us off your register. And so we did. That's part of the new General Assembly, House Bill 490, I guess it is, 460.
Pardon our ignorance on the subject of the airport, or my ignorance.
Well, come out there. I mean, if you haven't been out there, you need to at least go take a look at it's a
long time ago.
yeah. It's all right.
Are they planning like a candy drop like they used to have?
We have not had the Berlin airlift guys out there in some time. It cost about, I think the last time they charged us $8,000 to be there. And of course, that's just for them. That's, Hank Bethel helped, put them up for the night, and then the hotel's giving really low rates and this type of thing. But we haven't had them here. It's been a while since we've had them out there. I've talked to Tim Choate, and he asked me, it's probably been a year ago, and I said, Tim, when we get in better financial situation here, we'll have you guys back. But we got runway to take care of right now, so runway, a lot of it was closed, cut in half and all this other stuff, only 2,600 feet available at any one time.
So
But we're fully open now.
So the reason they haven't been is for financial constraints.
Yeah, well, you have to get the people to, borrow money, you gotta do things, people donate help to, it costs, when we had that, show, it normally runs about $15,000 to $18,000, and so you have to go around and get somebody to help you put the bill for that. And like I say, that C-54 was $8,000 worth of it. And of course, those other airplanes that showed up out there, they didn't come out there for free. They got some big bucks too. So it's an expensive process, and of course, we didn't charge anybody for it. You know, there was no, we didn't have tickets, it's just, you know, just come on out and enjoy the day. And so,
Is there any more questions?
we appreciate your support, whatever you can do.
Thank you for coming.
Would someone like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we donate what we did last year, that's $500, I think.
I second that.
We have a second. Any more discussion?
I would like to amend that. Appalachia has about 1,400 people, and Coburn has about 1,550. We probably have less than 1,000. I would amend that to be $200 instead of $500.
You have an
We'll match
amendment?
Coburn.
Is there a second to the amendment? There is no second. Do we have any more discussion on the original motion?
Yeah, Appalachia doesn't support the airport commission, and they have 1,400 people. They probably have a little over 400 people, more than we do. Coburn supports for $200. You know, they have 1,550 people. We have less than 1,000 people. I think if you ask the average person on the street in town, you know, do you think we ought to support the airport commission? Most would say, what is the airport commission? Number two, even if they knew what it was, they'd say, well, how does it help the town?
Might I make a correction there? You're not supporting the airport commission, you're supporting the asset of the airport. That's what the money's for.
Okay.
The commission does not get paid at all.
Commissioners are not getting paid. Employees
Absolutely
are,
not.
but not the commissioners.
No, that money goes to the airport expenses, not to the people out there. Of course, our workers get paid. They get salary, they get a paycheck, just like anybody else.
So that's just my reading of the man on the street, is they would say no. They'd rather go towards something else.
Is there any more discussion? If there is none, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Hawthorne,
No.
Hall,
Yes.
Kennedy,
Yes.
Mullins,
Yes.
Powers.
Yes.
And the motion passes. I appreciate you coming
I
out.
appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
The next item on the agenda is purposes for consultation with legal counsel regarding specific legal matters requiring provision of legal advice by such counsel, a political counsel. And that,
Also fine.
and that is closed session pursuant to 2.2-3711 and A5.
It's a discussion concerning a prospective business or industry or the expansion of an existing business or industry where no previous announcement has been made of the business or industry's interest in locating or expanding its facilities in the community.
And for clarification of the record, that's 2.2-3711, E5 and A8.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. And we will be dismissed. Who is there a motion?
I make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. We have a vote, roll call vote, please.
Hawthorne,
Yes.
Hall, Kennedy,
Yes.
Mullins,
Yes.
Powers.
Yes.
Okay, we will go into recess until we get back.
That's right. That's what Randy Reagan tells us.
No.
I'd like to say that
Yeah, I do.
He said, I'm
Have you ever-
this close session. I know it had something to do.
Yeah, sure is.
I said, yes, sir.
What is?
77.
He said, well,
Gary, you look bad, you look tired tonight. Have you been working hard today? I've been there.
That's one good thing about it, he won't lie about it, will he?
Hey, I don't know.
Break time, break time.
You ain't gonna share? You ain't gonna share?
Here, I'd say now, since this new mayor took over in Homeacre, I don't think that parade will go. No, not very much No. Yeah.
Where's my tree? You left it in the office.
Oh, yeah. But, we got bands from everywhere. Yep.
So we actually
Everybody gripes about, well,
We'll be out of recess. We'll be back in open session,
Motion to go back into open session.
okay? And yes, we only talked about things exempt, in closed session, exempt
That
by,
will be the next motion, so we'll do the motion to come back in.
okay.
And we'll do the second.
Do we have a second to come back into? We have a second? Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Conklin,
Yeah.
Hall, Kennedy,
Yes.
Mullins,
Yes.
Howard.
Yeah.
And at this point, I would make a motion to certify that to the best of each council member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered in the meeting by the public body.
And for clarification, that was under 2.23711A5 and A8, the provision of legal counsel regarding specific legal matters and discussion concerning prospective business or industry where no announcement has been previously made about that business.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Can we have a second? Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Conklin,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Kennedy,
Yes.
Mullins,
Yes.
Howard.
Yeah.
Okay, and the motion passes. We are back into open session.
And at this point, I would make a motion to cease picking in the pound beginning December 1st, going forward due to the need for repairs here at Town Hall until we can get that done.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion of the motion?
Is that, picking in the pound people, or you all, any?
We could not hear everything. Could you repeat that, please?
The motion is to suspend picking in the pound use of the Town Hall building beginning December 1st due to the need for repairs to the building.
Okay. For how long?
Till we can get it repaired.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on that?
You all have any thoughts?
Pardon me?
Have any thoughts or any?
No, I don't know what to say. I guess we'll find another place. I don't know.
Well, I've got some options that I can talk to you all about.
Okay,
I've been thinking about it.
okay.
If there's no more discussion, can we have a roll call vote on that, please?
Conklin,
Abstain.
Hall,
I'd say go with.
Kennedy,
Yes.
Mullins,
Yes.
Powers.
Yes.
Okay, and the motion passes. We now move on to the next item on the agenda, and that is audience comment. Someone from the audience would like to get up and give a comment. Now is the opportunity. Please state your name and whether you live in or out of the town.
I'm Randall Reagan. I think most of you know me. I do live out of the town, but they provide me a parsonage out of town, but I've been able to have the privilege of being a minister here for the better part of a decade. I'm thankful for that opportunity to do that, and I want to let you know something. Our church has on their prayer list every one of you by name, except our attorney. We need to add an attorney. So I apologize for that. I misspoke. But we have you by name. We pray for you. And it's something that we do care. I mean, if I can ever be of any spiritual assistance to you and all of the yous, any of you, certainly be honored to be able to be of spiritual assistance to you as well. There's an interesting passage of Scripture I wanted to bring to light today that I think is worth noting. And that passage of Scripture actually tells us what is expected of the requirements of those who lead. Some of you may know what I'm talking about, but there's a passage where Moses is getting ready to pick some leaders. And he's given advice on what types of leaders to pick. Let me just read the verse for you, Exodus 18:21. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands and of hundreds, rulers of 50s, and rulers of 10. As leaders of our community, there are 4 things that God expects of you. And that makes it easy, doesn't it? Because you think people want a whole lot more out of you than 4 things. But there's 4 things that God expects of you. He wants you to be capable and to use your capabilities that you've had to help. He also wants you to be people that fear God. And when it talks about a fear of God really means to have a fear of displeasing God. A fear of God where you do what's right when you're given the choice between right and wrong, just because it's right. Just because it's right. So there's a fear of God that's admonished. There's also the admonition to be people of truth. People of truth. You don't want to say one thing to one person, then say another thing to another person. But you need to be people of truth. And then the last thing is someone who hates covetousness. And I don't think most people know what covetous is now. But covetousness simply means those who like to plunder others or get dishonest gain. So plunderers are people who get dishonest gain. And lest we say that, well, now this is something that was given to Moses, this doesn't apply to us. God makes it very clear that this is something that applies to us. For in Romans chapter 15, verse 4, we're told that whatever things were written before were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the Scriptures might have hope. Do you need anyone that needs some life lessons? They need to learn something? God's Word is written for our learning. Do you know anyone that needs patience and comfort? God's Word gives patience and comfort. Do you know anyone that needs hope? There's a lot of hopelessness in our community. God's Word gives hope. Those are things. And God's Word says in Romans 15:4 that these things are written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the Scriptures might have hope. And if we didn't get it out of Romans, 1 Corinthians 10:11 says that these things happen to them as examples that are written for our admonition. So there's good examples we need to follow and bad examples that we shouldn't. So I have a word from God for you tonight, and that word of God that I have for you is found in Exodus 18:21. You need to be able. You need to fear God. You need to be a lover of truth. And you need to hate dishonest gain or plunder. And as we think of that, we recognize that there are people who in our community in the past have gained from plundering other people. And that's not what we do as people. So let me just admonish you to use your ability for good, to fear God, to love truth, and to hate plunder and dishonest gain. And once again, we pray for you. If I can be of any spiritual assistance to any one of you, please, please let me know. God bless you.
Thank you, Pastor.
I appreciate that. Would anyone else in the audience like to get up and give a comment? If there is no one, we will move on to the next item on the agenda, and that is reports. Would the police department like to give a report?
Watch out for these neighbors around here. Nice to see you sick tonight.
How you doing, Council? So just to update y'all on our two projects that y'all are very familiar with. The car cameras and the body cams. We got dates scheduled for deployment for those in December. The grant funding has been, the reimbursement of the grant funding has been approved. Now that the government shutdown is lifted, we should see those funds trickling in very, very soon. 599 fund for next year is approved, so everything's good to go on that. Otherwise, it's pretty much business as usual. I know the work that you asked me about, that's continuing. Okay. Officer Burton, would you mind coming up here for me, please, sir? Take this opportunity to brag on this young man here for just a minute. On November the 4th this year, we had a automobile crash out here in front of the VFW involving two vehicles. It was a head-on collision. There were 5 occupants in those vehicles. All 5 occupants of the vehicles were injured. 2 with very substantial injuries. Matter of fact, I just learned today that one young lady that was in the automobile, seated in the rear passenger seat, was airlifted, and she wound up in Pikeville. But the reason she wound up in Pikeville is because they were starting to Johnson City, and she coded in the helicopter. So they had to divert their path and get to Pikeville. Officer Burke was the first person, few citizens had stopped. Officer Burke was the first emergency responder on the scene. There was a 3-year-old that was trapped inside the vehicle, and due to his swift actions, he was able to extricate the 3-year-old, as well as a couple other passengers that were hemmed in the car. So I share that because I'm very proud of what he done. We've had the people that were involved in the crash were very complimentary of him, as well as our other local emergency responders, the fire and the EMS folks. Just demonstrates the importance of what we do. There's an old trooper over there thinking about this when I worked for state police. There was a trooper one time transferred down from Botetourt County to Smith County. That was his home. And he said, we're going down to Smith County. He said, the joke down there is nothing ever happens. He said, can you believe they still have troopers down there? He said, but I'll tell you, when something does happen, he said, you better be ready. Because you'll be on a midnight shift and snow starts coming in. He said, it only takes a second for about 5 tractor trailers to turn sideways and you have all kinds of carnage. So I was just thinking about that for some reason. I thought, town's a nice, peaceful place. That's what we all love about it, right? And to have him here and to have him close by when that happens, that's what it's all about. And that's what we're here for. And I'm just very grateful for your service, Nathan. Very grateful for your attitude and grateful for the fact that you're able to help those folks in their time of need. And just, the image that you portrayed for the town of Panel and the police department and for myself and all the leaders, I can't speak highly enough of you. I certainly appreciate what you do. And I wish those people could be here. Hopefully there's some pending things in this accident that we have to work through. But hopefully at some point they may want to come in and speak to the council about that. Just tell you, so we're very blessed to have you here, and anything we can do for you to help you out, let us know. Glenn, you want to say anything about it? He says he don't know what to say, but I'll share this story with y'all. When Nathan got hired here, he told me about an event that happened in Smith County. If he wants to share it with you at some point, he can. But the deputy sheriff came out to his house, and he's a young man. And made a very favorable impression upon him for what he done with the system. And Nathan said that he knew at that moment, that's what he knew, that's how he knew what he wanted to do with his life. And so when he called me, telling me about this wreck the other night, I can't remember if it was that night or maybe it was the next day we were talking. And he said, you know, he said, I felt last night on the other end what I felt when that deputy was in my house and helped me. That because of the reception he got from those folks. And those folks were so complimentary. I mean, I wish they could be, I can't do what they said justice. Okay, I won't even try to. But I know that that touched his heart, and it really brought the servant out in him. And he gets why he does this now. And he gets it from the other end. He knew all along, but it just, that touched my heart. I don't know if that does anything to you guys. I just felt like sharing that with you. I can't do it justice, but Nathan, we appreciate what you do for him. And please be careful out here. Take care of yourself, all right? Yeah. You guys have anything, any questions or anything for me?
I was wondering, I've noticed the last 3 council meetings, the car's been running outside. I don't know if that's something.
Well, you know, I've done some, we had a gentleman come in here at one point in time, a few months ago, and made a complaint about that. And I got to talking to some other folks, and, you know, some places it's customary to leave your car running if it's, you know, depending upon the weather or whatever. But what I got back was that a lot of times, and I don't understand it, so if you want me to get into the science of it, I'm not gonna be able to do that for you, is that those cars need to be ready to roll at a moment's notice, and sometimes the way they run, the fuel pumps on. Now, this may just be only applicable to older models, I don't know. But they said that there have been issues when an officer gets in to start their car, that the fuel pump switch, it'll cut off, and the car won't start. So the last thing we want in an emergency situation is to, now they're not running all the time, but yeah, it is running now. I noticed that earlier. If that's something the council wants to make, you know, if y'all want to take some kind of action on that to say that you don't want the cars running when they're not in operation, I'm open to that, and I'll pass along that instruction. But, you know, we talked to some folks, and they told me about these fuel pumps, and they're good enough for me. That was my stance on it, but I do understand the flip side of it. So, I'm happy to entertain any instruction that you give me, we'll follow.
Well, I mean, I'd make a motion that when it's not in operation, it'll be cut off. I'd make that motion.
We have a motion, is there a second to that motion? Okay, we have a second? Is there any discussion?
I think if it was a big city like New York City or something, you know, it'd be different to have them always running. Also, the fact we don't have 24/7 coverage here means that sometimes we don't have anybody here. And so to have someone go out to the car, turn on the car, and go, I don't think here in Pound is a big burden. And so that's just something, I joke that came back this month and is still running, you know, the last 4 months.
In my opinion, I want somebody there if I'm having trouble or if I pass out or I'm almost dead. I want a policeman coming. And if it's running and he gets in the car, in my opinion, it's not a big deal to let it run.
Let me, if you don't mind, sir, what you just said is exactly why my stance is to allow them to run, because you don't have 24-hour coverage, and you don't always have somebody here. Usually it's only one person when they are here. So it's very important, imperative that that vehicle be ready to go. So that's my logic and reasoning behind
But
it.
if you're in Bristol and another officer's in Coburn, I assume the car's not running at those moments.
If I'm in Bristol and another officer's in Coburn and one's in Pound, the only one we're concerned about is the one in Pound. He's the one that needs to be ready to get in his car and roll. I can't respond here from Bristol. Coburn officer can't respond to emergency response from Coburn, but the one in Pound can. And if his automobile fails him or fails to start, like the instance of this crash, minutes could have made a difference in that person living or dying. So that's the reason.
But we don't have 24/7 coverage.
No, but it's not there
But you need
24/7.
it, you need it.
If no officer's on duty, it's not running.
Right, well, I understand that, but I'm just saying, I think it's a little overkill, that's my opinion. Have the car running when the people aren't at home.
Well, you know, what if it was your child in there or something and he got there in time? What if he had to go out and start and it died and it couldn't get out there? I mean, I have children, grandchildren that I want, you know, them to come when I'm calling.
Well, then, we need 24/7 coverage, the car's always running. I'm just saying, I think it's overkill for a town like town. It also wears down the car.
24/7 coverage?
What's that?
Did you make a motion for 24/7?
I did not,
Just check.
I did not.
Just check. You
But,
said it right, but I will agree with you on that.
What I'm saying is that I don't think we need, it also wears down the car as well, to have it running idle like that, which means we get less mileage on the car.
We'll honor the council's wishes, whatever they do.
Well, people, I let mine run all the time when I'm in here or in there or whatever. Somebody's in the car, my sister or whatever, it runs as long as I'm in Walmart or wherever. My car's doing just fine.
Yeah, and just burning gas and
That's okay,
using the,
that's okay.
I mean, people have different philosophies about spending.
Is there any more discussion? If there is none, we have a motion, and we have a second, is that correct?
She read the motion.
Yes, can you read the motion back, please?
Not to run the vehicle, the vehicle when it's not in use,
Police,
while on duty.
it's not in use.
Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Concorn,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Kennedy,
No.
Mullins,
No.
Powers.
No.
And the motion does not pass. Is there any more, police chief, or any more questions for the police chief?
Thank you.
Thank you for your
council.
comment.
Appreciate it.
Is there someone here from the fire department who would like to give a comment?
Any progress on the separation?
I spoke to them this weekend, and they were gonna try to be here, but I imagine maybe got detained between either the rescue squad or the fire department. But they said that they had not, completed anything and that they would let me know when they do.
Would the town manager like to give a report?
So the boundary adjustment, went before the Board of Supervisors this month and was tabled until next month. I think a couple of the supervisors wanted to come over and look at what was going to be adjusted, like physically. So they're gonna do that, and then it'll be up on their agenda for next month. The demolition of the old bank building site is completed, and we're working on submitting the paperwork to DEQ to be reimbursed for that demolition. There is a possibility that we may be in the position to where we need to apply for a loan to pay for at least a portion of the stabilization, and the retaining wall until we get reimbursed by VDM. That way we don't, completely drain our bank accounts. And then, of course, when we get reimbursed, we can pay that loan off directly. I am trying to look into different options that we may have there, and I will get back to you all about what that might be. DMV stops are getting ready to be put in place for delinquent taxes. That does not pertain to people who have an active payment arrangement. If you have an active payment arrangement and you're making your payments, this does not apply. And anybody's welcome to come in and set one of those up as well to prevent this, but the DMV stops will prevent, it'll suspend the license, and it will also prevent them from getting a sticker for their vehicles, or tags for their vehicles, not a sticker, tags. We did get approved for the $2,000 grant from Versa, and we're looking at cherry pickers to purchase for Bo to be able to do different tasks around town. But in the meantime, we have contacted Appalachian, and they're willing to allow us to use their truck again this year to help us get our Christmas lights up. And there was another thing. We also, we purchased our Mahindra tractor for Bo, and it is here. So he's excited to have that and be able to utilize that to make his work a little bit easier. We also were going to be donated a large Christmas tree from Joe and Janet Reynolds. And we have talked with the Historical Society about putting it out there so that everybody can see it as they drive by. We would love to have a Christmas tree lighting. I think the weekend before the parade would be a great weekend to do that. That would be the weekend of the 6th. If that would please council. And then my last thing is that if you all happen to have time, and are out towards Wise, please stop by the library and check out the Charles W. Harris Gallery. They have a display, of the work of women art show, and Miracle has several pieces out there. And I just think that that's wonderful that she's being represented and honored in that way. So if you all have the opportunity, please go out there and look at her work. Oh, and your the VDOT resolutions are in your packet that we discussed last month about the change in speed limit. So if you all want to look at that, see if there's any changes that you would like to like made.
And I was gonna ask too, did anybody talk to anybody at VDOT about doing this sort of traffic study?
I talked to them when we first mentioned this about doing a traffic study, but they never got back to me about that.
Cause I was wondering, I'm pretty sure they do those. Pretty sure somebody there can do it. Obviously, I don't think we have. As far as speed limits in town limits, provided we have some traffic study from somebody, we can adjust that by ordinance. And then as far as everything, anything outside of town limits on state highways, what have you, would require, the state to adjust that internally. So just wanted to point that out. If we can get a traffic study on whatever roads we want to change, we can do that by ordinance ourselves.
Thank you for your comment.
I know this is late on the agenda, the personal property tax that's going out.
The conversion date for personal property taxes is the 19th of December. So they should be out by the 22nd, and then they would not be due until January the 31st.
Good. And the board of supervisors meeting will be 6 o'clock on the 11th of December.
Yes.
We'll be discussing the boundary adjustment.
Okay. Thank you for your report. Would the EDA like to take a report?
Yes, I got in touch with the lady, actually you can call her on Sunday, or I called her on Sunday and met with her Sunday evening. And, she's gonna donate a washer and dryer. She doesn't know if it works, but she's gonna donate it. She's gonna donate a refrigerator. She knows that works. So, we're gonna pick it up, put it in the Boyd house. And we are actually pretty much depleting our account right now. So but we've got all of our bills paid, but we have about $100 and some left in there. So, anyway.
That same lady did say that she had, a property there that she had renovated previously, and she said that it stayed busy all the time. So, she did.
Okay. Thank you for your report. Planning Commission, they have a report to give.
We didn't get to meet in November, so we meet next week.
Nope, scheduling conflicts. Our chairperson has way too many funerals.
Hopefully nobody will die.
Could be you next time, huh?
Y'all are still discussing the, putting trailers on Main Street?
Not trailers so much, it's, mobile housing.
Okay.
More like RVs, tiny homes, something that can be moved in the event of a flood. But no, we're not discussing it at this point because we were waiting on Kevin to check on updating the ordinance. The way it stands now, they can do anything they want to. We don't have anything that's enforceable.
What's the early updates?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your report. Audit update.
So I've been in contact with David Cox throughout the month, and he has finally given me some set dates that he says he will not change. That the 2023 audit will be, pre-audit, will be completed no later than December the 5th. The 2024 will be completed by Christmas, and 2025 will be completed by mid-January.
What day in January?
Mid-January.
By 1/15.
Okay.
And that'll catch us up.
Yes.
Good.
Grant update? Any updates you'd like to get into?
Well, Brittany did tell you we got the 2,000 approved from Versa. The VDM grant, we are still waiting on FEMA. Of course, with the government shutdown, that's kind of put us behind. It is with EHP, which is the historic portion. But they said there would be no problem with getting them to sign off on that. The DEQ grants for the demolition is complete, and we are in the process of filing for reimbursement on those. The ARP grant, they did approve to pay Miracle in Abby's absence. So we have applied for the first portion of the reimbursement on that. That has not come back yet. Chris talked about his grant, so we're just waiting on the reimbursement on that. And monuments. The monument grant, we have not had a whole lot of luck finding a contractor. We did reach out to 2 today, trying to get a contractor to build the amphitheater. And the artists are looking at the possibility of buying a kit that we just have a contractor put together. I don't think I left anything out.
So there's a kit available large enough to.
There's several kits available. We did, Dana Joe did reach out to one company out of Utah, and the hope was that they would just passionately come from Utah and build our amphitheater.
And could rent the Lloyd House while they're doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, we'd let them live in the Lloyd House. Yeah. But they came back with almost double what our budget is. And so she's kind of scoping out the kits now to figure out which way we want to go with that. And I told her she figures out the kit, we'll figure out a contractor. So we do have an in with one of the contractors, so I'm hoping that takes. And I will tell you that the Ratliff building, we have gotten the money for that. That is sold. And as much as was told that it was the town's fault that the building was taking on water, Mr. Tomo has found a large leak in the roof, not of the portion. When we were in it, it was a matter of, it was leaking into that, what was the alleyway portion. He's found a large leak in the main roof, and the last couple of days he's been working to get a roof back on it. So, bless his heart.
Yeah, I saw a lot of pressure treated lumber down.
Yeah, I was told that he's already got 10,000.
Yeah, it was a huge truck.
Okay. Any more updates, please?
Not there.
We now move on. That also covers the Pocket Park and slide update.
Everything's still
Yeah.
spring.
So I did leave off the AMLR. The AMLR is dependent on the audits, so that's where we're at with that.
Still spring ribbon cutting or whatever.
March-ish.
But there's a deadline, right?
There is a deadline, and, you know, a lot of it is dependent on what we can get the contractor to do, and that's what we're trying to figure out. There's going to be some very unique things in that monument, and I don't want to give some of the surprise away. And I'm happy to tell you on the side, but there's going to be some things happening that will build some excitement and interest. And we hope that when we have that unveiling, we have talked with some folks with UMWA, so I'm hoping that Cecil Roberts will make an appearance.
Who?
Cecil Roberts.
Oh.
Cecil Roberts is the hellfire and brimstone of unions. He's just an awesome speaker.
The modern Mother Jones.
You know what, so his grandmother, so there were two mothers. There was Mother Jones, and I cannot remember his grandmother's name, but one was known as the mother of unions, and the other one was known as the mother of something else. But anyway, it was his grandmother. Maybe she was the UMWA mother. But it's just interesting. He's a very interesting character. And if we can get him here, you know, I'm really excited to have him here.
How old is he?
Cecil, he's getting up there. I don't know. I've dealt with Cecil a lot of years, just during my union career, so a lot of years. And the other one is Sean Brock. Sean Brock is a chef. He has 2 or 3 restaurants in Nashville. He's from up South Forkway. So, Renee Brock. So he has said that he will come and cook us some food for him. And
It's always good.
we know you like the free burgers.
A local guy.
Yeah, I mean, you know, to have a local chef come in here, and he was really excited about it. So, you know, I think it's going to be a really big event, and these things that we have coming up kind of create some interest there. I think will be a big thing too.
Okay. Free food is always good.
Okay, well, now we move on to item number, the next item, I'm not exactly sure on the list we are, but.
I think we're at the pocket parking slide, but the boundary adjustment's already been talked about.
Okay, so what's the number? I don't, anyway, I don't
We're on
know about numbers.
13.
Okay, we're gonna be talking about speed limit. Is there any updates on that?
Do we need to pass this?
Be helpful.
Yeah, I don't think you need a resolution. I mean, it might be helpful to get, but I mean, my thinking on it was just get in touch with someone at DDOT who can point you in the direction of doing that sort of traffic study. All we need is that done, and then a public hearing and an ordinance for anything inside town limits. There was a portion I understand that was just outside of town limits, though, that we were asking to be adjusted. Is that correct?
No.
Just
Okay,
all-
if it's all in town limits, then we just need a traffic study of the area that we're adjusting.
So we just need to request it.
Yeah.
I'll
Whatever,
make the
yeah,
motion that we request this traffic study from VDOT.
then we just do the public notice and ordinance like any other ordinance.
And I will second that, adding that we are going to pass a resolution as well.
If we don't need it, I don't see.
Well, it's just extra support. I like the way it's worded.
It don't hurt us.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a second. Is there any discussion?
Will you read the resolution just to let everybody know what it says?
Okay. The resolution that is suggested is a resolution requesting the Virginia Department of Transportation, VDOT, to reduce the posted speed limit within the corporate limits of the town of Pound. Whereas the town of Pound is responsible for promoting the health, safety, and welfare of residents, businesses, and visitors within the town, and whereas the Virginia Department of Transportation, VDOT, has authority under Virginia Code 46.2-878 to alter speed limits on state-maintained highways upon the basis of engineering and traffic investigation. And whereas the posted speed limit on US Business 23 and Route 83 within town limits, within the corporate limits of the town of Pound, currently varies between 45 miles per hour and 30 miles per hour. And whereas the town council has received concerns from residents and businesses regarding vehicle speeds, pedestrian safety, sight distance limitations, roadway geometry, and the presence of residential commercial, school, or recreational areas within or adjacent to the affected corridor. And whereas the town council finds that the current posted speed limit may not adequately reflect existing traffic conditions or ensure the safety of motorists, pedestrians, and cyclists. And whereas the town council desires that VDOT conduct an engineering and traffic study to determine the appropriate posted speed limit and consider reducing the speed limit to 30 miles per hour in the town limits on US Business 23 and Route 83 within town limits, or on any other segment VDOT deems appropriate following its investigation. Now therefore, be it resolved that the town council of the town of Pound hereby formally request that the Virginia Department of Transportation perform an engineering and traffic investigation pursuant to Virginia Code 46.2-878. And based on the results of that study, reduce the posted speed limit in the corporate limits of the town on US Business 23 and Route 83 within town limits to 30 miles per hour, or to such speed as VDOT determines is safe and reasonable. Be it further resolved that the town manager or their designee is authorized to submit this resolution to VDOT and to coordinate with VDOT staff regarding all required studies, evaluations, signage changes, and implementation actions related to this request. It has adopted this day, 2025, by the town council of the town of Pound. That is the resolution. We have a motion. We have a second. Is there any more discussion?
Was there a second?
He seconded adding the resolution.
Okay,
Your motion.
so I would like to make a friendly amendment to that resolution, and let's provide a number for our resolution of 2025-1118-1.
Okay.
And we're asking VDOT to change the speed limit to 30 miles per hour. The first resolved paragraph, do we need or to such speed as VDOT determines is safe and reasonable, or if we just leave that off? Since we're specifically asking for 30 miles an hour. I think that would be a stronger resolution. Ken?
I mean, in terms of the resolution, I don't think it particularly matters in the sense that the language is not legally binding, or I suppose it could contradict whatever request we're actually making orally, so we want to be
Do we
consistent.
take that out as a friendly gesture then?
Is anyone opposed to that? Okay.
So we'll take that out, Brittany.
Okay.
Okay. Is there any more discussion? Can we have a roll call vote of that, please?
Hawthorne,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Kennedy,
Yes.
Mullins,
Yes.
Powers.
Yeah.
Okay, let me find my agenda. There we go. Next item is zoning update. We heard a little bit of that.
Yeah, all right, so talked with Mr. Baker, Susan Wood also in office, who's town attorney for Clinton, who recently updated their zoning ordinance for them. They both told me roughly it's a nightmare. Susan informed me she spent roughly a year routinely meeting with the planning commission, which required a substantial amount of work on her part as well as the planning commission. Now, given Clintwood's size, larger, I believe, a little bit than Pounds, but she kind of gave me the estimate somewhere, because we're on an hourly rate with you all outside of their, regular scheduled meetings for additional work, about $3 grand to $6 grand, somewhere in that ballpark.
Could we cheat?
No. So, and the reason for that is because you have to first adopt a zoning ordinance, which requires, like I said, pretty extensive work between the planning. For some reason in Clintwood, it took almost a year. I'm not sure why. I don't want to speak to that. Not saying it could be done quicker here. But we would have to redo an ordinance because the latest one that I've seen, other than the 2005 change regarding floodplain, is 1985.
Long time ago.
So we're probably gonna have to do a whole new one. So in addition to actually drafting and creating a new ordinance, we would have to install a zoning board of appeals. Part of the reason that I was cautioned against advising to do this, basically, is that creates potential for not necessarily litigation, but just citizens being mad at government is telling them what they can and can't do with their property, which apparently is happening in Cleveland a fair amount from what I've heard. So actually, repealing and amending the ordinance, getting zoning board of appeals installed, which that would be the easiest part of that. Obviously, having a public hearing to adopt the ordinance. And the question that I think is the most pertinent for whether or not the town wants to do this is, what kind of ordinance do they want in place, and how does that serve the interest of Pound and the citizens, and is it worth the cost to do so? And continue routinely updating that board, making sure that there's ordinance on it. What's the purpose, right? What's the governmental purpose? But I mean, that's a question.
What's the drawback if we don't have one?
The drawback would be, legally, obviously, there's nothing to enforce. Somebody, I guess, could open up something commercial in a residential area.
So if I have a cow in my backyard,
Well, that's where I feel like it takes a long time, because there's all these contingencies you can think of to put in zoning. There's also other ordinances you can do to address situations like that, regarding livestock specifically. But obviously, even for a small town, you can think of 1,000 contingencies you want to put into a zoning ordinance. It's not like, my thinking on it is, obviously I'm a lawyer, I don't mind making money, but I don't want to take money if it's not, useful for y'all's purposes. And it would be, I think, a considerable investment in attorney's fees, as well as just time on the part of the planning commission, and they would have to routinely meet and do quite a bit of work to get this done.
so on the flip side of that, and we do nothing, but there's other ordinances we can put into place to address all those issues.
Depending on if it's the cow issue or not.
Well, see, my question there is, what does that cost us? Because we don't know.
You mean to just do an ordinance about livestock down?
Different ordinances. You're saying there's all kinds of ordinances we could put in place to address issues that may arise. So are we waiting on those issues to arise?
No, as far as zoning, you want to decide whether or not you need a zoning ordinance, whether or not, and that's notwithstanding the map either. I understand you had said Linnawisco would do it for free. Greg had told me that the map would be the biggest investment. But I'm not sure if he's got the connections at Linnawisco or the knowledge. Linnawisco's practices that I think you dealt with recently, right? So as long as I guess you're pretty confident that would not be an additional cost. But yeah, you're looking at maybe $3 to $6 grand.
Outside of that.
Outside of the map. And, like I said, Susan spent, she said, about a year meeting routinely with the planning commission, and it was a lot of work on her part and their part to get it all correctly adopted.
So what I would do at this point is, I would make a motion to table the zoning update, and let's do a little more research. Have those little sit-down conversations with Nabisco
Right.
and.
I think that'd be a good idea, but my main concern again is I just don't want you all to get into something that's going to waste the town's money, create more headache, create concerned citizens, just, if it's not going to be ultimately beneficial for the town. It depends on how necessary that zoning ordinance is for the town's purposes. I know we're a smaller town, so, I think Greg said his dad was always of the opinion in Clinton, they never needed one, right? They're just a small town, but that's up to you all.
I
Lay
think
everything out so you know what my end of it would look like, and what your end would look like in terms of the planning commission and what they would have to do as well.
Yeah, I definitely just feel like we need to look outside the box, because, the fact that there's property there that could be utilized and create housing in the process.
So you're talking about the floodplain issue?
Yes.
So that is my understanding, FEMA's designated floodplain, which means that you just can't build a structure on it.
Right,
You can put RVs or.
right.
The
But it has
reason.
been the process in the past, and there's actually been a citizen that came out and put mobile homes
Mhm.
out here at the end of town hall. Do you remember that?
No, not exactly.
You mentioned it, the other.
But, see, because my opinion on that is, as it stands now, there's nothing stopping that project.
Right.
So, I mean, if that's the main goal, like, oh, if that's what spurred this whole, do we need zoning, we need to amend zoning, then the answer, at least on that little particular issue, is
Mobile housing.
you can do that now because there's no ordinance in effect.
Mhm.
I mean, it's technically adopted, but without a zoning board of appeals, it is not legally effectual, you know?
Now, we do have a
You
zoning
can
board
go
of
and do it.
appeals.
What's that?
We do have a zoning board of appeals, it's just, we haven't really put any new people on it.
They
I
have to
don't
be
believe
active.
Yeah, I don't believe we do then, if they've not been appointed by the circuit court at the time.
Well, they haven't been appointed by the council, we used to have one.
Well, you have to get an order of the circuit court to do it as well, which my understanding was we had one in limited amount of time, which would mean we don't have it. Regardless of whether we have, I guess, the remnants of one or what have you.
So at present, people can pretty much do what they want on their property, as long as their neighbor is not physically,
Right, as long as they're not creating a nuisance,
you know.
which, I mean, that's where kind of, I felt like Greg's point was in terms of, once you start passing things and issuing public notices about what people can and can't do with their property, that's when you start to get people's feathers ruffled and have to actually
Yeah.
deal with some degree of public outrage. It just depends on what you want to do, right? What kind of amendments. But in terms of the question of mobile homes and stuff and floodplains, as long as that comports with federal law, there's nothing that is effective under the ordinances of town that I'm aware of, which would preclude that.
And one thing we need to look into, this brings up, is we need to see who is coming up for renomination for these different committees, like the EDA and the Planning Commission, and I don't know if it's still a Tourism Commission or not. But anyway, we need to look into who's coming up for renomination.
They were on zoning.
So, because we haven't, that I know of, we haven't nominated anybody this year.
No, but we have open spaces.
Well, then we need to know what those vacancies are so they can be filled.
It's just a matter of getting somebody to fill them.
We can probably find some people.
And then I
Guess
guess
you can let us know that, Brittany,
Okay.
for next meeting.
And as far as the planning commission goes, I mean, I just leave that up to you all. If we don't have zoning ordinance presently active, how you all approach that as a commission, but, I think it's not unwise to look into some things, but I mean, like I said, the ultimate question is, do you get your money's worth in doing this? And Greg's exact words were zoning is a beast. By statute, by code, it is just a lot of work, to properly adopt one. The question is, does a town of this size need to make that investment? Would serve the interest of the community? That's
Well,
your,
no
for your
return
ultimate
on
purpose.
So my motion is to table it at least until next month, and we can ask some questions.
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Is there any more discussion? Is there any opposed? And the motion passes. The next item is the Christmas parade. It's come to my attention that there's a grand marshal. Is there a nomination for the grand marshal position?
Nominate Bo McCarthy.
Who?
Bo McCarthy.
Okay. There's a nomination for Bo MacArthur. Is there a second? Is that in the form of a motion?
He has been the grand marshal previously.
Has it? Can you do it again?
I think there's other people that would be just as conservative. I would nominate Lisa Short, new business.
So I'll second his motion.
Okay, yeah, we have this motion on the table. Is there any discussion on it?
I think Jerry Baker was the grand marshal last year.
He was.
was.
Yeah. Of a generational thing. Passing the torch.
Is there any more discussion before we vote on the motion? Okay, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Hawthorne,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Kennedy,
No.
Mullins,
No.
Powers.
This is for both.
Vote.
Yes.
motion passes. Is there any more discussion on Christmas parade?
I did have a question. I know that our manager has said that she'd be willing to head it up. Do you get paid by the hour or do you get paid salary?
No, mine is just salary.
Okay. I would make a motion to compensate our manager at $20 per hour for the time that she puts on the Christmas play.
The Christmas parade.
Christmas parade. Sorry, get to church. That would be my motion.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I say.
We have a second. Is there any discussion?
The reason for this is, in a council manager form of government, the council is a deliberative body, which means that we decide kind of the direction, the big picture of how the town ought to go. But the people who work for the town shouldn't be giving their time freely. They should be compensated for what they do. And so I would say compensate her. She's salary, or I would say whatever her hourly wages, but I would say give her $20 an hour for the time she puts into the Christmas play, including conducting the Christmas parade.
Okay. Any more discussion? Okay. Can we have a roll call vote? You have discussion?
Yeah, I don't know that it does me any good to say anything. You know, this is a function that should have been taken care of by the mayor. Brittany agreed to take it on when John indicated that he wouldn't be able to do that.
And so now we're compensating the manager for doing it.
Yeah, and I get that. But if the mayor took it on, then it, you know, that's part of the duty, and we wouldn't have to compensate a manager. I don't know how she would distinguish what time she has working on the parade versus anything else she's doing. Because everything co-mingles. It's not a clear cut, oh, from 10 to 11, I'm working on the parade. It's parade here, grant here, phone calls here, oh, here's another parade issue. It's not like that.
I think we've had a mingling of the roles of mayor and manager that's been unfortunate in the past. And I think we're delineating here that the mayor, the council is an unpaid advisory position. And the manager and the town employees are a paid, get-her-done position.
You're certainly entitled to your opinion.
Thank you.
Any more discussion? Okay, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Hawthorne,
Yes.
Hall. Kennedy,
Brittany, love you, mean it? No.
Mullins,
No.
Powers.
I'm gonna go with a yes.
And the motion passes.
Merry Christmas. We go on, is there any more on Christmas parade? Okay, we move on to personal property taxes. There's already a brief question about that. Is there any more discussion on that? One out soon, and they'll have more than 30 days to pay. Sounds good. Okay. We move on to other business. Is there any other business? We have this resolution here that we've not talked about.
I've got loads.
Okay.
So the first is the resolution for the Virginia Department of Corrections officers, if you wanna.
I think we got one.
That's it. Yeah, and I was make a motion that we pass that, resolution.
It's 2 pages.
No. That you, no. This is a resolution in support of the corrections officers. I'm not sure if everyone's aware, but an inmate at Riven North attacked a corrections officer yesterday, as a matter of fact, and that corrections officer is dead. We had a recent, back in May, there were officers at Wallens Ridge that were attacked. And it's just really a resolution to stand in support of those corrections officers. Somebody wants to, if you want to read it,
Yeah, I'll read it.
read
A resolution in support of the Virginia Department of Corrections officers. Whereas corrections officers in the Commonwealth of Virginia perform a vital public service, working under difficult and often dangerous conditions to maintain safety, order, and security in the Commonwealth's prisons and detention centers. And whereas on May 2nd, 2025, 6 inmates at Wallens Ridge State Prison carried out a premeditated attack in which 3 corrections officers were stabbed, 2 of whom required hospitalization. Whereas 5 of the attackers have been identified as confirmed MS-13 gang members, and a 6th as a member of Sereno 13 gang. Whereas the Commonwealth's Attorney and the Office of the Attorney General secured indictments against the 6 inmates in a total of 66 felony counts. Whereas on November 17, 2025, an inmate at River North Correctional Center in Independence, Virginia, carried out a violent assault on corrections officers, resulting in a tragic line-of-duty death of Officer Jeremy Lewis Hall, and the injury of at least 1 other officer. Whereas the Virginia Department of Corrections has affirmed that its Office of Law Enforcement Services is actively investigating the River North attack, and that the Commonwealth is committed to persecuting the assailant to the fullest extent of the law. Whereas these incidents underscore the inherent risks faced daily by corrections officers who place themselves in harm's way to ensure public safety, safeguard incarcerated populations, and uphold the rule of law. And whereas the Commonwealth mourns the loss of Officer Hall, extends its deepest condolences to his family, and supports the recovery of the injured officers. And whereas it is both fitting and proper for the Commonwealth to recognize and honor the courage, commitment, and sacrifice of its corrections officers. Now therefore be it resolved by the town of Pound that support and condolences. A, the town of Pound expresses its profound sorrow at the death of Officer Jeremy Lewis Hall and its relief at the recovery of the injured officers. The town of Pound extends its heartfelt condolences to Officer Hall's family, loved ones, and fellow officers, and pledges to support them in their grief. Secondly, recognition of service. The town of Pound formally acknowledges and commends the bravery, professionalism, and selflessness of the corrections officers at Wallens Ridge, River North, Red Onion, and throughout the Commonwealth for the hazardous and essential work they perform each day. The town of Pound recognizes that the safety and security of the Commonwealth depend in part on officers who protect not only the public, but also their fellow officers and the incarcerated individuals in their custody. Number 3, call for accountability and justice. The town of Pound supports vigorous pursuit of justice in the prosecutions stemming from both the Wallens Ridge and River North incidents, urging that the assailants be held fully accountable under the law. The town of Pound affirms its support for the Virginia Department of Corrections, its Office of Law Enforcement Services, and other relevant agencies in their efforts to investigate, prosecute, and deter violent attacks against correctional staff. Fourth, support for corrections officer safety. The town of Pound encourages review and, whereas necessary, strengthening of policies, training, staffing, resources, and security protocols within the Department of Corrections to better protect corrections officers. The town of Pound urges the Commonwealth and relevant stakeholders, including the legislature, executive agencies, and local governments to explore additional measures such as funding for protective equipment, mental health support, and incentives that recognize the risk borne by corrections staff and enhance their ability to perform their duties safely. Fifth, public awareness. The town of Pound calls on the people of Virginia to recognize and appreciate the sacrifices of corrections officers, many of whom were unsung public safety heroes. The town of Pound encourages promoting public understanding of the challenges and dangers inherent in corrections work and fostering community support for officers serving in the Department of Corrections. Now therefore, be it resolved that a copy of this resolution be delivered to the Virginia Department of Corrections, the families of the affected officers, the Office of the Attorney General, and the Office of the Governor as a gesture of solidarity and gratitude. Adopted this day of 2025 by the Town Council of the Town of Pound.
I'm gonna second this, beautifully written.
I will say that I think many times the general public does not realize that the Department of Corrections holds open corrections officers' positions, and the facilities are generally understaffed. So these officers go above and beyond, and I think also the general public doesn't realize, the police officers out here in the public deal with these criminals for a short period of time. They have a gun, they have a means of fighting back, but the corrections officers go into these facilities with nothing but pepper spray in the hopes that another officer in the tower will have their eyes open should something happen.
Do we want to number the resolution?
Yep, 2025-1118-2. Okay.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion? Can we have a roll call vote of this motion? This resolution, please?
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
Kennedy.
Yes.
Mullins.
Yes.
Howard.
Yeah.
Motion is passed. Is there other business?
Lots. So since we have use of the high school property and we have a chain up that prevents the general public from driving back into the back portion, at this point I'm going to make a motion to provide a key to the rescue squad to be able to access that portion of the property in the event that it's needed for med flight. The rescue team was at Maggard Sales and Service, I know, on the November 11th situation, and I only know that because I came by there and saw it. Certainly, the high school property is a much better option for them to access in that situation. So I'm making the motion that we provide them a key to be able to access that portion of the property should they need it for witness.
Second that. With this question, does the fire department have that key?
They don't, but I don't have a problem providing it to the fire department either.
So then the fire department add that to it. I assume our police have it.
They do. They do, and our Bo has a key. Everybody that has been working to keep the grass down and working on the tennis courts, those are the people that have keys. I just feel like at this point it's imperative that our rescue services have that.
That's a good idea.
And the fire department.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
First responders. how's
First
that?
responder.
Is there any more discussion? Is there anyone opposed to the motion? The motion passes. Like to offer up something else?
Absolutely. So some information that we gained through the Department of Housing and enterprise zone. Is anybody familiar with the enterprise zone?
Heard me.
So what the enterprise zone does is it allows for, so for example, the building that Mr. Tomo has bought. If we were in the enterprise zone, there are incentives through the county. He would, let's say he paid $10,000 for a building and spent $100,000 fixing that building. For a period of time, and I want to say it's 10 years, but I won't guarantee it's 10 years, that property owner would pay at the lower rate, at the $10,000 rate in taxes. And that's an incentive to kind of lure people in. We, however, are not in the enterprise zone. So it's been brought up, and certainly intend to have some additional conversations with the county to try and get us in the enterprise zone. Because I think that's a good incentive to have. I feel like the communities that need that option most are probably the ones that are being overlooked.
Like Wise has an enterprise zone?
I don't think Wise has it, so I know that
Is there one in the county?
there is. So there's one at Red Onion. Why do we need one at Red Onion?
You tell me.
Yeah.
Because Alpha probably. that's
Yeah,
why.
well, that one I'm not real happy about. Appalachia has one, and I feel like that one is well-deserved. So they can only have, Brittany, do you remember the number of acres? They can only
I
have,
don't right off the top
they
of
can
my
only
head.
have so many acres of property in that enterprise zone. And they can only have, let's say they gave Wise an enterprise zone. To get to us, they would have to follow a track.
Mhm.
So they can only have 3. So they would have to follow a track to get us into the enterprise zone, and if it goes over that number of acres, then, oh well, I hate that for you, you're not in it. I know, it doesn't make, no, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But the conversations have started, so I'm hoping that we can get something accomplished there. Just to give you all the heads up.
With that, I remember years ago, we had a discussion about the Rachel's Haven, and I think the former mayor who was here tonight, he said every property they buy is one less tax ticket for the town of Hank, because it's a nonprofit. How would enterprise zone affect, let's just take for instance, Mr. Tomo, his businesses and paying taxes to the town of Hank?
It doesn't.
Like, it doesn't affect the town, it would just affect
Well,
state.
now, the county would probably still assess it at $10,000, but we've got a business. We're gonna get money from it otherwise. Whereas right now, we have blighted buildings that nobody's going into.
So what you're saying is the property tax would be held at the value it was before it was fixed up, but the business tax would not be affected.
Right.
And then after like a 15-year period,
I
the
think
property
it's
tax
10.
would be reassessed for
I
10
think
years
it's 10, yeah.
to be what it was worth.
Right.
Do we have a motion?
Yes.
I don't know that we necessarily need a motion. It was just something I wanted to bring to everybody's attention.
Okay.
You know, I think it's something that we just keep fighting for. There are things out there.
Who do you approach for an enterprise zone permit?
The county decides that.
And they don't,
Conversations have started.
okay, never mind. That's all.
And the last thing on my list, that make you happy?
I'm pretty hungry, so yeah.
Are you hungry? But are you hangry yet?
No. They saw a Hershey bar.
See, all right.
Ready to go.
Christmas bonus for our employees. So last year, what we did was, Brittany, was it 500 and then 200 for the part-time?
We did 500 for regular employees and 200 for the intern.
Yeah, we don't have any tiers. We don't really have any.
Yeah, we don't have an intern. Yeah, she's paid now, so that would be different.
Okay, so then I would make the motion that we provide a $500 Christmas bonus to our employees.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Any discussion?
So do we have any part-time employees?
Miracle is considered part-time.
Everybody's part-time.
Yeah, I mean, everybody here except for Bo is considered part-time.
So would you want to prorate the bonus based on how many hours they actually work at town hall?
I wouldn't, because even those part-time people are working more than part-time hours.
Well, once again, just like with the airport commission,
Mm-hmm.
I know if I were to go on the street, I would ask the average person, should we give bonuses to the workers at town hall? Person on the street would respond, my costs are up, I don't want to give my money toward that. And so, I just think if I'm representing the people of town, I don't think they'd be in favor of that. We used to give a $100 gift certificate to IGA, and that meant the money stayed in the town. They could buy ham, turkey, whatever. To me, that would be more appropriate.
Any more discussion?
Well, I think they should get a bonus because most every place does. What are you gonna do? You gave them one last year, not this year? I just don't understand some of this. $500, it's not gonna get very far, to be honest with you. But, and I'm a volunteer, I don't get anything.
Me either, but a hard
either.
time.
I'm a volunteer.
But a hard time.
Okay, anyway, no, 500, anyway, I think it should be 500.
You have something to say? You
I agree with Doris.
Any more discussion?
That's a very safe response. What you're saying.
Can we have a roll call vote on that, please? Can you
Hawthorne,
repeat the motion? Sorry.
that the employees of town will get a $500 Christmas bonus?
Okay.
For full-time, or, employees?
Just employees.
Yeah.
Can you please read that, roll call?
Hawthorne,
I just know what I think the people would say, I'm gonna say no.
Hall,
Oh, I have to say yes.
Kennedy,
Yes.
I know how hard times,
Mullins,
Yes.
times are hard.
Powers.
Yes.
Okay, and the motion passes. Is there any other business? If there is none, we'll move on to public comment. Someone from the audience like to get up and give a public comment? Okay,
Where do y'all go?
okay, well, the last item is adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion, second.
Second.
I second.
Each day.
Do we have, okay, any opposed? We are adjourned. Yeah.
I say go home and eat while you there.
How are you going?
Are you good?
Probably bacon sandwich.
We got some pork loin in got some pork loin in the crock pot.
No way, go. Here's
Huh?
the, no way.
No.
Like 5 papers.
Okay.
Lord God knows what it is, not right.
You hit the button so the green thing goes off. It's like,